Welcome back. Another episode of No Cap Sports, man. We got all the guys here, Josh, TJ, Vance. And as we was talking about earlier, it's been a crazy start to free agency. And that's what we're gonna talk about, or that's what we plan to talk about. But Bam Adebayo just scored 83 points in the NBA game. And I feel like that bears some some form of discussion tonight because I don't think anybody in the world saw that shit coming.
Allegedly, don't throw allegedly on there, but you got a lot of hate out before the camera went rolling. So get out some hate. I am not of the I think marginal importance, the unethicality of it, but yeah, like we live in like the league of peace unethical. So it's like it is whatever to me. But you in the bottom right and the top left, you two were particularly upset.
My biggest thing was, for us, niggas talk about Wilt, but for us, the benchmark was Kobe's 81. Kobe went 18 for 20 from the free throw line when he scored his 81. Bam went 36 for 44 tonight from the free throw line. I don't want to hear shit about a Bam 80
He
piece
hit
ever
his
again in
free
my
throws
life.
though, bro. He hit them though.
Oh God, if he hit his free throws, he really would
44
have hit.
free throw attempts, my nigga.
He would have
I would
hit
hope he hit
90
them
though.
bitches.
He could have hit 90 if he hit all his free throws. That's the crazy part.
It was nasty. I only watched the last 3 minutes, but the last 3 minutes, it was he would grab a rebound or they'll pass it to him. He goes coast to coast, throws it at the rim, and the Wizards like couldn't do anything but foul him. It was actually embarrassing. If you ask me, they should have started a fight. That's what I would have did. Like honestly, as soon as he hit about 60 and then still what third quarter, yeah, you gotta see me, bro.
Response
I'm not
on
gonna
the
let
take off
you.
on it real quick.
Yes, you gotta fight him. Like
Would
start a
end this
brawl.
at the end of the bench, nigga,
Yeah,
just to do
bro.
that shit.
It was
Hey,
embarrassing.
this
No
is
pride.
Steve Kerr said it, bro. We don't need this. This NBA season's too long. Like we cut these last little 10 games off this fat, we'll be straight. We don't need any more. Like the Kenny Lofton game at 240 balls. Like it's cool, bro. We don't need them. So I think this is just because, like you said, this is. Oh, TJ said it, he is forever etched, in NBA history, right below, Wilt.
He's a lock for the Hall of Fame, bro. And now
That is scary.
Hold on? Do you think that was in question before? He got two gold
yeah,
medals.
I know it was like it was a question. I mean,
You
he's
gotta,
been to the finals twice, but like now, I think the argument is
Shit, he did go
when
twice.
he's done his career, will he be first ballot, bro? It's trending.
bro, he's
He's
not
still
even
only
top five. He's
28.
never been top five in his position in the league, bro.
So he
And
might
we
get.
talking about Hall of Fame?
I
He
don't
might
know,
get.
bro. He's been to the finals twice. Like, listen, you can say whatever you want to say, but he's been a proven winner. Olympics history, bro. He'll definitely make the basketball Hall of Fame, but like NBA, can he be an NBA first team? I mean, first ballot Hall of Famer? I think he can.
Does Bam has he ever made first or second team All NBA? I'm gonna look it
I
up.
think he got a couple seconds, maybe.
He's never been first. He
Nah,
I
might
think he
not
might have a
make
second.
All NBA this year. I don't know. He may just because of that game.
It'll be interesting, bro. But if I had
Cat
a
probably
vote, I
better
wouldn't
than
be
him.
voting for him.
Yeah, me neither. Cat been better. Wimby been better. I don't know Wimby gonna get the threshold though. I'm sure I
ooh,
could think of somebody.
Man, I told y'all how I felt when niggas was putting
man,
Bam
GG
in
Jackson with a strong
DPOY.
gust, nigga, better than that nigga. My bad. My bad, Nick. Sorry.
I got Bam messed up, bro.
But yeah, man, that's definitely how you hoop when you got a baby on the way, though. I will say that, bro.
I'm trying to get one.
Nah, for
Uh,
real.
Lockout coming, bro. She can miss a season.
How does it feel to hear your name with Wilt, Bam, Kobe? Obviously, it's top three performances of all time.
NFL free agency, man. And hopefully y'all weren't like Aaron Glenn at the combine and sleep because it's a lot of action that has been going on ever since free agency started on Monday. And to start this period, one of the teams that have been the biggest spenders is the Las Vegas Raiders, who are in control of the number one pick, likely to be Fernando Mendoza. So looking at all the money the Raiders have spent so far, how do y'all evaluate this team with Mendoza coming in? And do y'all think they could be on the trajectory for JD5, Caleb Williams and the Bears sort of young quarterback surpassing expectations kind of run.
No. Not at all. Shout out my boy Ken Ivory Waynes. Hey, we talk about the QB class. Obviously, hindsight 2020, but I don't see Mendoza on those same level of QB prospects as a May, JD5. Still Caleb in there. That was a little bit more of a slow burn, but I see where you're going. But even at the end of 2027, do I think Fernando Mendoza can be as good as Caleb Williams, the all-encompassing experience? Definitely not. Especially considering, Caleb Williams knows how to code, but the highs, nah, Mendoza don't got that in his bag. So, and then we'll get into it more. But even the spending that they did do, I don't necessarily think that you did a lot to make your rookie quarterback feel comfortable. Like, yes, as a D lineman, I'm biased. I think that interior pressure frazzles the quarterback more than maybe edge pressure, just because it's more immediate. But all this signing that you see, did we see receiver one for Fernando Mendoza? Did we see a tackle for Fernando Mendoza? I'm curious to see how that thing solidifying their inside linebacker core helps their rookie quarterback. So even the money they did spend is like, how are you helping? So the plan is to kind of, it seems like, to kind of bring back the toughness so that group and kind of, like I said, kind of establish an identity. But I just think that you got to kind of throw a lot of darts at the arrow in terms of what you're trying to strive for next season and beyond.
Vance, I see you had a kind of visceral reaction, man. How you feeling about what Josh just said?
Honestly, I like everything he said except for about the part that he doesn't think Mendoza can be on that type of level with these quarterbacks. These young guys have been playing really well the past couple of years that's coming into the league. Like you said, Caleb Williams, I think he can have that type of impact to where he plays solid enough football and his team. I do believe that they have enough pieces to at least be competitive. Of course, winning these games, it is going to come down to Mendoza. I think he can make those plays. We saw it. Miami is one of the best defenses we've seen probably in the past couple of years, like especially in that playoff run, how efficient they were. He cut them up on it, made it look simple, honestly. So I think Mendoza can be that type of guy to lead his team to victories instead of them having to carry him. That's just the only thing I disagreed on that part.
Yeah, and I feel like we all kind of feel the same way about Mendoza, a guy who has to go into the right system for things to work out uh, for him as a number one pick. And I think the Raiders are kind of laying the groundwork with what they've done to start free agency. Them bringing in Tyler Linderbaum, signing him to a record contract for O lineman as a center. I think that's a very good investment for the Raiders because you look at it, it's like the one thing you do by bringing in the center is you take one extra thing off of Fernando Mendoza's plate. You look at Linderbaum, a guy who's been a 4 year starter in Baltimore. He can handle all the line calls, all of the protections, and just kind of allow Fernando Mendoza to go out and play football. And then when you think about their top draft pick from last year, Ashton Genty, he didn't even get a chance to get going last year. So by bringing in Linderbaum, a force in the middle of that O line is hopefully somebody who can stabilize that entire group. Hopefully you can get that run game going. You take a little extra off Mendoza's plate, and hopefully you can get things rolling here year one and kind of just set that baseline for what this team is going to be going into the future. And so TJ, how do you feel about this whole thing with the Raiders?
If they can address the receiver position, maybe in the latter free agency or in the draft, I think you can color me, I would say, intrigued. I don't want to be, too high on. They're making a lot of splash moves. They're bringing in bodies, but the way that they could not move the ball down the field, a la Geno Smith, if you please, but a lot of drops. I think you have a bunch of supplementary pieces. I like Trey Tucker. Jack Besh kind of flopped. They spent early capital on him. But your receiver one is Brock Bowers. Like, if you are a young quarterback, he's going to be your best friend. This will be his third or fourth quarterback. He's going to get peppered regardless. So if you can keep him healthy, you can run the ball. They go get out maybe a Jordan Tyson type if they trade back. If they trade back in the first round, a Tyson, a Lynn, somebody of that, nature, get that one. You got Naylor, you have supplementary pieces, but with Kubiak, I think you need to run the ball and you need at least one guy, which they just had in Seattle. I don't think they have that one guy unless Jalen Naylor is going to have a generational pop, no disrespect to him. But if they I think he will be perfect if he has that Jettas Addison type to distract, to take away from him, and he can make the plays that we've seen him make. But you can't put that on him, no matter how much you pay him. I think they have a bunch of Jalen Nailors right now. They need a JSN. It obviously can't be that caliber, this early, but like get somebody who can go up and get it, an alpha, a guy, and then after that, I think I'd be intrigued.
I think the weapons point is interesting because, like you said, Brock Bowers is undoubtedly your number one. And when you think about Kubiak and the success he's had over his last couple of
Yeah,
stops, you think about some of those double tight, even triple tight looks. And so you go back to Vegas, you got Bowers, you got Michael Mayer, who you invested some high draft capital in as well. All you need is solid production from the receivers. I don't think you necessarily need a true one when you have all of the threats pretty much in your front seven on offense, looking at Genty, looking at Bowers and Mayer, like I said. So I think if they can really get that run game going, which I think uh, getting Linderbaum was a big piece of that. If you can get that run game going with Genty, get into that play action game with Bowers, get easy check downs, easy throws from Mendoza, the receivers will find their way. Because if you look at Jalen Naylor, I would make the argument that out of all the Vikings receivers last year, he's the one that exceeded expectations the most. Obviously,
yeah,
it was a down year for Jettis, a down year
how
for
about that?
Addison. Naylor was really the guy that kind of stepped up and kind of, I don't want to say was the linchpin, but he kind of held that Vikings receiver room together, putting up over 444 yards, all career highs. So I think the best is yet to come for him. Do I think he's the one? No. But I think he can be a very crucial part to a complementary offense because you look at Mendoza, nobody was saying goddamn Charlie Baker and Elijah Surratt were the top receivers coming into this draft, but shit, he just won a national championship with him.
Like coming out of college, the supporting guys I think for Caleb and JD definitely more solidified. You talk about bringing in, Roma Dunze, which you possibly can do. TJ, like you said, pair Mendoza with a Lemon or a Cornell Taylor, whatever smattering of first round receiver you want to
Yeah.
do. But I just think, like you said, the supplementary pieces that you mentioned, Nick, they were definitely stronger in both of those situations. They are for Mendoza. But even beyond that, outside of supporting cast aside, I think that superpower that kind of allows you to kind of live with some of the load that you saw with JD and Caleb. I don't know if Mendoza has that, at least right now. I don't know what that is. Like, with Caleb, it's the backyard football. For Jaden, I would say it's, the downfield accuracy. So combining that, I don't believe in a number one as strong as I would have with DJ Moore / Roma Dunze or Terry McLaurin in Washington. Combined with, I don't know. I look at Fernando Mendoza as a guy that you're definitely going to, and that Jared Goff, man, I've said it before, that a guy that you're going to want to trust to make good decisions, not have to play make. I think that even with the moves that they made, I still think that if they plan to be competitive, which if they plan to be competitive, he's going to do a lot of playmaking. And I just don't think that we saw him do that in Indiana. Like, he's Mr. Tough, gritty guy. Like, I'm going to outthink you. I'm going to beat you before the snap. I'm going to get 13 yards on a 39. Yeah, he's a solid football player, and he can take you from good to great, but from bad to good, I don't see that. At least
Yeah,
this year.
and I mean, don't get me wrong. Like we still have to keep the division in mind. They're in the division with the Broncos, the Chiefs, the Chargers. I don't see this being a 10-win team or really damn near even sniffing 6, 7 wins. But I think they are laying the groundwork for a very good football team, especially like I said, taking some things off Mendoza's plate, and especially the investments they made in defense. Obviously, middle linebacker might not be the sexiest position in the league right now, but kind of bringing back that ethos of we're not going to be a team that's going to roll over and you're going to get a free win week to week. I think that's the biggest thing for the Raiders so far in free agency.
Yeah, for better or for worse, they had Geno Smith this past season. Mendoza, Geno at his best is what they want from Mendoza. I think you can honestly compare their play styles, and so I think they're banking on that. Honestly, they can be competitive for sure.
They usually are competitive.
They can be competitive in losses. I think that they can, like, they have
They usually
7 or
are.
8
They usually are.
one loss wins,
Yeah.
one score losses. But
I mean,
like,
every NFL team is just about, bro.
Yeah,
Sometimes
it
it be the
depends.
bottom of the barrel.
I mean, nothing else a coach is being said with the toughness in terms of their position they're vested in.
Mendoza, you don't think? I think he's a culture setter, if anything.
That's a lame ass coach. That's a lame ass.
Hey, it's gonna be. He reminds me like a military kid, bro. I
No,
think if you
facts.
match him with the right coaching, which I think he does have that now. I mean, he had it in college, but in terms of having it in the NFL, I think that it is a good pairing for them.
I disagree, but I don't. I see that. I see an avenue to where y'all could be right. I think, however, I think this is the like the establishing step. You're gonna need a similar
Yeah.
kind of haul like this in free agency after your what 5, 6, 7 win season next year. If you can follow this up with some more complementary pieces, if you get, Mendoza has at least showcased the sign of being good, and you get the piece that you get next offseason plus a year 2 jump, plus Genty maybe becomes a top 10 back in the league, then you could, you can be cooking with gas. But right now, you definitely got to. This is like I said, this is a good establishment.
I mean,
Yeah.
I commit. You got to commend them for trying. Like you saw, Nick made the graphic of how much they spent in free agency, and then you still got to probably take back Crosby's contract if you can't get off of him, which I think they will be able to. But either way it goes, they spent the money, and I think they spent it well on like my Tennessee Titans. I'll say that.
So yeah, man, let's go on and get into it, man. Let's talk about the Titans, aka the goddamn half Jets, half Giants, with Dable and Saleh, coming in charge and bringing in a lot of their former guys. I would say Tennessee was definitely the second biggest spender in free agency, but you don't seem to be a fan of how they spent that bread, bro.
Listen, Rondale Robinson, a lot of people are split on that. I like that signing a lot. I still think offensively we would need another guy. I'm not sure if Io Manor can be that one or two to Rondale Robinson's one or two. Can they be Batman and Superman? I don't think so. I think they could be Robin and whoever else is a sidekick. I think we still got two sidekicks, but I do think
Nigga said that
Rondale
about the Teen
Robinson.
Titans.
I do think Rondale Robinson, he can be like how Restrepo was in Miami for Cam Ward in terms of you're feeding him the ball. We saw that with him at the Giants quarterback. I don't know why I'm blanking right now.
Jackson Dart.
Jackson. We saw Robinson and Dart them connecting a lot last year, and a contract 4 years, 78 mil. We're paying him to be like a number 2 guy when you think about it, and so. I think it's a great pairing if we use him correctly, which I'm sure we will because we're literally bringing over the ball with him. So he knows how to put Rondale Robinson in the positions that he needs to be. We're still like a offensive line away, but though in terms of skill players, right now I'm satisfied with what I see. But the offensive line is still kind of weak in my opinion. We got a lot of holes to fill. We signed Austin Schlottman. I feel as if our guys can grow up, just like how Nick, you appreciate this. The New England's Patriots offensive line is gonna have to grow up. So the Titans offensive line is just as bad, or just was as bad last season, and so you can have a good car, but if the oil isn't good for you, then you can't really get anywhere. And so offensive line, they're gonna have to get better. The defense, I trust the defense. They were solid last year. This is a veteran team, and so we spent money. We will be better than we were last year. I guarantee that. But I still think we're a little ways away from playoffs. And so I got to ask you guys, I'm going to turn it to you first, TJ. They had the number 4 pick. What do you think the Titans should do with that?
I would take Jeremiah Love. I think I don't know.
At 4?
I'm taking him at 4. I'll put it to you like this. Would you rather have him on your team, or would you rather be playing against him? Would you rather be watching him on somebody else's team saying, damn, we could have had him and but think about it. You laughing, but teams do this every year. There's always a guy you can go on Twitter, you can set your watch to it. Damn, what if my team would have just took, is Sonny Styles or is Arvell Reese, whatever they're doing for your defense, is it going to show up right away? Who knows? But running back is one of the most easily translatable positions, especially if you have offensive line, especially a guy of that caliber. I can't look that gift horse in the mouth. Now, it might not seem like the most efficient use at the time, but like you can't let someone else get him, and you can't pass up on that kind of. You have seen firsthand what a transformative receiver, A.J. Brown, and a transformative running back, Derrick Henry, can do for you with Ryan Tannehill taking you to the AFC Championship game. You almost got to the Super Bowl a couple different times. So I'm not passing him up. I would not we don't need to burn the franchise down if you don't take him. If you go Sonny Styles, so be it. But if he's there at 4, I'm taking him.
Listen, I don't hate that just for the fact of the Titans O-line, like I said, they weren't very good. But the running the ball, they still were solid. Tony Pollard got 1,000 yards,
Facts.
5 touchdowns, averaged 4 yards, maybe 4.5 a carry last season.
Yeah, he
So
was good.
they can run the ball. Listen, I don't hate that, but taking them at 4, I think you can actually drop back some. I may be wrong, but I think they may
So
be able to trade
you would
back
trade back?
for Jeremiah. Yes, definitely. I think you could get him at 10.
Okay.
I think he'll be
I'm
here
not
at
gonna
10.
lie.
I don't know if he's gonna be
After
at
his
10.
combine performance, bro, I think he gonna fly. I think he gonna fly off the board
That
early.
motherfucker might be gone by 3.
Because I think you look
Okay.
at and not to foreshadow too much, but you look at the Chiefs going to get Kenneth Walker. They're sitting right there
Yeah.
at 9. Jeremiah Love could have easily fell into their hands, but I don't think they felt comfortable enough sitting there waiting because they knew somebody was gonna take him ahead of them.
Okay, I'm looking at it. Maybe Washington Commanders at 7 in terms of somebody that needs a
Yeah.
running back.
What's
Raiders,
the
they got
top
Genty.
10?
Raiders got Genty. Jets got Brees Hall. Cardinals, they still got Connor and I forget. That's a
They
I,
signed
Canadian, but
somebody
I think
too.
they would. I think
I
they would do
mean,
that.
They could go get him.
possibly they don't have a QB right now, so why not? They need a
They
QB
keep
now.
him Brissett. He's very he's productive.
True,
He is
true. He could
productive.
be serviceable. He can hand the ball off. But then you
Shit,
got
he can
Giants. They
ball.
still got Scatterboo. Browns. They still got Judkins. Then the Commanders at 7. I think
I
that's
think the Giants will do
probably
it.
the
I don't
best
think they're
shot.
sold on Scatterboo because of his playing style, and he wasn't supposed to be the running back. Like they didn't
Yeah.
spend crazy capital on him. He was a 4th, 5th round pick. So I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
passing up on Jeremiah Love for Scatterboo.
For Scatterboo. You could play them together, bro. Hey,
Yeah,
keep them fresh. Their careers will last longer, especially Scatterboo.
I think this draft we're about to see somebody do some shit they have no business doing. So if Arizona takes Jeremiah Love at 3, don't be surprised. Now I wouldn't recommend that for them, but like that's what this draft is giving. Because if Mendoza is a lot to go 1, after that is no
Yeah.
disrespect to him. It just
I have seen, like especially like uh after the conclusion of the CFB season, a lot of people were starting to mock Ruben Bain and some of these other edge rushers to Tennessee, but I want to kind of bring Josh in on this, Jets Titans made a big trade, sending Tavondre Sweat to New York, sending Jeremiah Johnson to Tennessee, and I think that adds a very good pass rusher to Tennessee, kind of freeing them up to do some different things at 4. But Josh, I just want to get your opinions on that trade and just what are the Titans getting in Jermaine Johnson?
He's not, he's not Will McDonald, the guy that we kept in turn just your super flexible, bendy, crispy guy. I think he's probably a little bit more complete. Definitely more of a run stopper. Like he's a sweat. He's a try hard. In the best way possible. Like he's like Mr. Cat. Like he could be a potential like team captain. I think he'll pair well with Simmons. They kind of even with JJ as an end, they kind of rush very similarly, very rugged. Like I said, it's kind of a lot of arm over stuff. All that. It's not a lot of ghost rush, different all that. So he's a damn good football player. Y'all got the better play out of him and Tavondre Sweat. So yeah, like they come like Tennessee is when I was coaching the Laws in scouting like different D lines and all that, you're starting to see Tennessee is building a very homogenous line. You're gonna have a bunch of guys between 6'2" and 6'4", between 250 and 293 or whatever Jefferson Simmons is, and they can all kind of do the same thing. That's kind of what the basis that you get with Simmons and JJ, because he can line up a third down and be a rush. We can 3 take out a rush package and all that. So he's not your guy. I would say like if you for whatever reason if Arvell Reese falls or David Bailey falls to y'all, I wouldn't say not consider it. But like he's a guy that you could see that could get 5 to 8 sacks for the next 3-4 years for sure. We traded up at the end of the first round to get him actually when he came out of Florida State. Yeah, he was on Last Chance U actually.
That's what I was finna say. So it's crazy that you described him like that because he for sure got that JUCO product mentality.
On guy, exactly. On guy, dude. Yeah, I'm not going back. Exactly, that's what it is. So yeah.
Like you just describing Jeremiah Johnson. Jermaine Johnson. Excuse me. It reminds me of Zach. I was thinking the whole time you was talking. I thought you were talking about Ruben Bain. They almost remind me of the same type of player, bro.
Oh, no, that's a. I think that JJ, at least coming out, he definitely a little bit more finesse. But Bain's more productive coming out of college. for sure. So now that's. But then I look at Ruben Bain, and well, people said that about Will Anderson. Like how to describe JJ, people said that about Will Anderson. Like not a straight linear fast guy. Like gonna be between like a mid-tier rusher. So I say that about JJ, and I don't know the DC I got over there, but he could be a potential diamond rough. Like I could look up, and he could be a guy that's second team All Pro or like a perennial Pro Bowler. So you saying that I agree, but also like that's not the David and silly because he was a first rounder. Like he was a real polished product coming out of Florida State. And us, we throw dirt on shit, so he can easily go there and be better.
Man, I'm sorry. I'm gonna go a little off track, and then we can go back to free agency. I promise. But I gotta ask you, Josh, as a fellow D lineman, who's your favorite pass rusher in this draft?
I mean, I am advocating for us to take Arvell Reese. Maybe it's recency bias. In terms of a guy that's played the position longer, bless you, TJ. David Bailey, like the numbers I heard that he got at Texas Tech, that's a lot of damn. There was a lot of confidence in him. But we've seen the recipe twice with the converted linebacker edge rusher with Abdul and Micah. Like I'm not gonna be the team that sits at 2 and passes up on that again. Yeah, I would go Reese for sure.
Okay.
Then again, there is Ohio State linebackers right now is hit or miss right now. We got one in court facing a murder charge, so it's kind of tough. Also a former Jet, so whoever we draft, they didn't never fall off anyway.
Kind of keeping with this pass rusher theme, moving on to the NFC South. I think one of the biggest surprises of this free agency period so far was Jalen Phillips leaving the Eagles to sign a big time deal with the Carolina Panthers. And TJ is our resident NFC South expert. Are we taking the Panthers for real after this sign? Not only this signing, but also the signing of Devin Lloyd?
I'm not. I'm hashtag not going. This might sound a little silly, but like I look at, and this is not meant to be a diss, but I look at the Panthers kind of how you view the Jets. Like no matter what they do, they gonna do what they do. So I've seen Carolina with edge rushers. I've seen it with Brian Burns. I've seen them with everybody's going crazy over Shaq Thompson, and they had Luke Kuechly, and they had Thomas Davis, and like they've had every big free agent signing. They drafted Derrick Brown. Like this shit has never amounted to anything because on one side of the ball they're usually committing malpractice. I will say Bryce Young had a good turnaround. I will say they were competitive. They were a few seconds away from winning the playoff game, so I don't want to take anything from them. It's just something about the team that I just, aside from being a rival, I can't get behind because at one point or another, they will start to do something that's just head scratching. They fired coaches mid-season. They had the debacle with Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard. You have clearly one who's the better back, and the coach is trying to figure out, well, damn, who do we give the ball to? Like, it's just something about them not being able to stay out of their own way. And most importantly, Jalen Phillips, Jermaine Johns, whoever, the bank is closed. Kelvin Banks, that side is short up. So we good in the South. Yeah, we good in the South. No, but in all seriousness, I think those were good moves for them. I think, they always feel the competitive defense, but it's just something about the NFC South. Like I can't, like it alters your brain chemistry. You can have the 2 worst lineups you've ever seen in your life, and you'll get sent them. You have a team with 15 injuries playing a team that's fully healthy, and they'll beat them. They've got to show me. No hate and shit. They got to, like the Panthers got to show me they can beat us, and they have not been able to do that. No matter who they've had, no matter who we have not had, they have not been able to,
Go ahead and say this clip, bro. Go ahead and say this clip for next October.
They got swept by Tampa.
We don't get to use it if they limp in at 8 and 9 playoffs. Like we don't get to use it. Like,
I'm just saying,
just from when they play each other, Clippy.
They made the playoffs.
They put a lot of sauce on Kevin Banks. I didn't know if he was that good or not. You put a lot of sauce on him. I can't lie.
That's Texas boy Vance. You got to help me out, bro.
You put a lot of. Yeah, that is because he was supposed to be like a top 5 guy. Like
pretty good last year.
Coming out of last year.
Y'all gotta drive down the field, score a game-winning touchdown, kick a game-winning field goal, or tie the game. Tyler Shuck, bro, can he get it done, or is Jalen Fields gonna knock his ass out? I'm talking about this upcoming season.
Hold on, it's on tape. It's on tape.
I think y'all the 2 best teams for sure as of right now. I don't trust the Falcons. I mean, we gonna get to that, I'm sure, but like I think it's
The
Saints
two
and
best
Panthers.
quarterbacks play the two best playing quarterbacks at the end of the season for sure.
Yeah,
Chuck and
I'm fine with that.
Bryce Young. I will say, let me
The tide
Crazy
is
to
TJ,
turning,
say.
you get into the
fellas.
weeds, TJ. I forgot this. I forgot. St. New Orleans has some random ass rivalries. Shout out team from Louisiana beefing with a Carolina team. But I would say the first thing that I thought when I saw this is they believe in Bryce Young. I think you hit on the TJ, depending on what like Bryce Young his development. Like you don't, I don't think you don't, I don't think you go out and spend $100 million on the edge rusher if you don't think you're close. If you don't think you got something, if you don't think you got some bones, or if you don't think you're due for a big loop, or due for a big jump, the quarterback play. So that's just what I think this is rooted in. I don't watch enough Carolina football to really have an opinion one way or the other. That was just the first thing I thought. Because Dylan Phillips was like really good for Philadelphia. He's been really good since he was in Miami. I don't think I don't see him as a 10 plus sack per game type of guy. So like you're
Hands on the field anyway.
Yeah, I
exactly.
mean,
So a
Yeah.
little bit
And
of so
they got
you're
rid of
getting an
Brian
over.
Burns.
This is an overpay that a contending team makes. My point is, and like I said, I think you only do this when you see yourself contending. And I'm something on Derek Brown and Jalen Phillips. I can speak to anything else beyond that, but I know that that's a hell of a tackle D and twist, if nothing else.
and I'll come in and say this. Like you said, I love the combination of Derek Brown and Jalen Phillips. Obviously, the biggest thing for Jalen Phillips is staying healthy, staying on the field. He's the guy who hasn't had a 10 sack season yet, but it's hard to do that, like y'all said, when you stay in the blue tent, stay in street clothes. But he's the guy who definitely has that potential to be that, especially when paired with Derek Brown. But then you add Devin Lloyd on the second level of that defense, a guy who had an outstanding season with Jacksonville last year. I think really kind of transformed and was the ethos of that Jacksonville defense last year. But when TJ said, the Carolinas always going to be the Panthers and do some dumb shit, they let Rico Dowdle out the building. And when I seen that, I was just like, yeah, same old Panthers, man. Same old goddamn Panthers.
Quality
I mean,
franchise.
they've had defensive talent. They let Brian Burns walk. Like that's one of the teams that we don't talk about, but they have seen as much defensive talent as anyone in the last 10 some odd years, and it's amounted to nothing. Fuck, they had Christian
Josh
McCaffrey.
Norman. They got
Christian
J.C.
McCaffrey.
Horn right now.
Come on,
Yeah,
bro. You had Christian McCaffrey, Cam Newton, DJ Moore. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
Zero
They drove
playoff.
to one bowl.
that's tough.
Talking about these NFC South teams and obviously some shocking departures, like I said, with Rico Dowdle, I think the biggest shocking departure from the NFC South that we saw was hands down Mike Evans leaving Tampa Bay, man. So I want to see it. Obviously, TJ, Marshawn Lattimore, and Mike Evans had a long,
Favorite.
storied feud, and obviously that was one of my biggest reasons for always keeping Mike Evans out of my top 5, top 10 receivers because you could always count on 2 weeks where he wouldn't show up. But with him now out of the division, what does Mike Evans bring to the 49ers and kind of where does that leave Tampa Bay?
I think for the 49ers, they need to knock that substation down first. Because like, you talk about a prime candidate for that motherfucker. Ooh, them hamstrings. Ooh, yeah, them bitches finna be boneless. I feel like
The
with
real
them,
tendon.
when you talk about, you could basically throw a rock and hit. When anyone talks about the 49ers, what is the first thing that's gonna come out their mouth? Like, what is the first caveat that they're gonna say?
When healthy.
When healthy, okay. If he does not fit that mold at this point in his career, I won't call him, he hasn't really been injury prone, but at this point in his career, if Juwan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall, Christian McCaffrey, and George Kittle don't fit that mold together better than any group of 5, I don't know who will. So he's 32. You're paying him what? Does anyone know the contract details? Was it
I want
21,
to say
22?
3 for
I want to
60,
say yeah, so he
16
getting like a little over
guaranteed.
20 a year.
And I saw today, Underdog reported that teams will offer him $30 million. I gotta see that to believe that, because if they were trying to give him $30 million, I want
That
to
guys
know.
are doing crazy work. Oh
I
God.
I want to know who that was. Like, that's got to come out. Like, we can't just let a team be doing shit like that. You can't run a professional organization and you were offering him upwards of 10 more than an actual, competent football team would, and you think we not gonna find who you are. We gonna find who you are. But I mean, I can see him performing situationally, red zone, other than the name cachet. Oh, look, that's Mike Evans. Let's not leave him open. He showed some flash. He showed some pulse at sometimes, but that's not, to me, that's, I won't quite call it an unserious move, but like, you're about to get what you paid for. So when he plays 7 games and, what's Brock Purdy gonna do? We need to get him some help. Like, don't say I didn't tell you. Now, I'm not hating on the man. Get your money.
No, you're hating, bro.
All right. Get your get your bread up. I think the touches will be there for him if he's healthy. The F1 driver, he's gone. The receiver, the GTA.
Ayuk.
Yeah.
Is he? Is it what? Like what ended up happening?
They said
Well,
they was gonna
he's at
release him pretty
home.
much. Yeah.
He on
I
Chris
know
Paul
Lynch said that
retirement.
I know Lynch said they were trying to trade him at one point, and he was going live, letting ice cream melt on live.
Why would you trade for him, bro?
And that nigga was driving past the stadium during the game, bro. I never seen no shit like that. But like, bro, on
He
live.
clearly had
Drive.
CTE. Like, why would you trade for him?
Yeah, I mean, they're not making it. If Mike Evans is a solution to that, that's unserious as hell. So I don't know what their draft capital looks like. So maybe they go get a receiver, but I talked about it. This is Ricky Pearsall's third year, so that would have been 2 years ago. I just think that was an egregious reach. Like Ricky Pearsall had like a day 3 grade. Now he has shown like at times where he could have been like he could have exceeded his draft grade, but like he's never going to exceed his draft position, especially if he cannot stay healthy. And Mike Evans as the solution, I'm not buying it. I'm not jacking or clapping that, as they say.
Yeah. I think you make a very good point, talking about adding Mike Evans to that 49ers receiver room. Like at this point, they're counting on Mike Evans to be prime Mike Evans, 1,300 dominant number one guy. And unfortunately, I don't think that's who Mike Evans is at this point. Is he still a very good receiver? Yes,
Yeah,
but is he gonna be your number one target? Talking
no.
about in the receiver room with Ricky Pearsall and I don't even know what the hell else they got because Jawan
They got
Jennings a free
Juwan Jennings,
agent.
Ricky
He a free
Pearsall,
agent, bro.
Demarcus. They got Demarcus. Oh, is he?
Yeah, Jawan a free agent. So like you said,
Okay, so if
it's
they don't
Mike
bring him
Evans,
back,
Demarcus
they probably.
Robinson, Ricky Pearsall. Like with Mike Evans as your one, I don't know how productive that room is. And kind of like looking at it from Tampa Bay's side, that's kind of why I think Tampa Bay is more than prepared, has more than prepared for this situation. You look at their past 2 drafts with McMillan, with Ibuka, and now Chris Godwin kind of elevates into that true number one role. I think Tampa Bay is a team that obviously fell off toward the end of last year and like people have kind of forgotten about. But I think some
Yeah,
of the moves they've made in bringing in Kenny Gainwell, re-upping Cade Otton, I think they're a team that's kind of lurking in the dark in that NFC South that could really make some noise shake by, not overpaying Mike Evans and kind of addressing some of the other holes on that roster.
I think the same thing
Yeah.
I think about the Carolina move. When you talk about what that spending $100 million on Jalen Phillips means, I think that some of those kind of like ancillary auxiliary moves, I think that tells me we think the second half of the season that was not the Baker Mayfield that we got. We think we got the one from 24 in the first half. So again, we had almost 2 years, 18 months of Baker playing like a top 10 top 10 quarterback. So
yeah, definitely.
I'm inclined to believe. So yeah, I think a situation like that, it is more just retooling versus maybe like overhauling it. And yeah, if you do think that Mike Evans is really due for that big a drop off, and he was really in your bill to ask for $20-25 million a year, yeah, like you kind of outlined it, Nick. Yeah, you kind of have the pieces in place to let a guy like that walk off the building and not feel it. But I feel the exact opposite way, honestly. How you feel about it for San Francisco, TJ? I can't lie.
Oh, you like it for them?
$16 million guaranteed. For a body type that you really haven't had in that Shanahan offense.
Here go this nigga.
I think that I,
I don't know,
I,
bro.
I did not
Juwan
know
Jennings
Jawan
do
Jennings
the
was a
same
free
shit,
agent. I was kind of
but he do
firmly
the same
accept.
shit Mike Evans do.
I mean, that's why I was like, at this point, I think Jawan Jennings is your receiver one over Mike Evans. That's why I was kind of on that. So that kind of dings it a little bit. But I think even if you get 3 years, 35, if you get you talking about 7 games, if you get 20 games of production out of Mike Evans over these 3 years, pay him $20 million. It's a $60 million guarantee.
Did you just say 2 years?
I mean, he's on a 3-year deal.
20 games?
I'm saying, bro, like if we talk about how he's gonna play, like that's that. I'm trying to, yeah.
You were paid $20 million. You
You can't load manage in the NFL, my nigga.
yeah.
I mean, that low mental, like
Wait. You're
They play
projecting that nigga to
17
play.
games a year, bro. So it's like
Yeah, so that's 20 out of 34.
Maybe 2 years, I understand, but 3 is kind of nuts, bro.
I mean, okay, yeah. I did journalism because my math was math. Okay, you're right.
It'll have to be
That's like
that.
John Moran in the NBA if you scale the games.
But how much,
time out.
how much do you expect to be playing in year 3 or even back in year 2?
I don't
Like,
think that nigga be on the team after year.
That's a veteran team. McCaffrey, his bones gonna be dust in 3 years. Mike Evans' bones gonna be dust. George Kittle's bones gonna be dust in 3 years, bro. They're trying to win right now.
that's what I'm
That's
saying.
all
If
that
Mike
is.
Evans gives you, if you get 60, 70% of your production of paying that money this year to Mike Evans, you get to what? In an NFC championship? Is him as your
No,
wide receiver
it's
one?
Super Bowl or bust. That's a Super Bowl or bust roster, bro. It's
God.
gonna be like that.
Like in my mind, they're signing Mike Evans to have the same effect that Devontae Adams had in signing with the
The
Rams,
Rams.
and I don't think Mike Evans will bring that to San
I would be
Francisco.
surprised that nigga made it to the end of the
But
contract.
he got hurt. It sucks, bro. I think he can still give you a
That's
rat
what
next year.
that's what I'm
I don't
like.
see why not.
But here's what kind of douses that fire for me. I kind of talked about Marshawn
They had to
Lattimore
add his
earlier.
vocabulary for this shit. Okay, hold on for it.
I
Yeah.
talked about Marshawn Lattimore earlier. The corners he finna be seeing now, Devon Witherspoon and Josh Jobe in Seattle. We know how they get. He
And
finna be
McDuffie.
seeing, yeah, McDuffie and Watson in LA. Obviously the Cardinals, I can't even name goddamn
It
10
would
players on
be
that team.
Will Johnson and Max Melton.
Appreciate
They
that.
they, they
So
kind of climb
that's
shit. They
actually a
low key
good
climb
unit.
shit.
Yeah, that's actually a
Yeah,
good
they low
unit.
key
So
climb shit.
I say that to say like shit ain't gonna be sweet for Mike like it was in the NFC South, excluding New Orleans. But
Okay.
I just put some hesitation on a 33-year-old big body receiver whose separation has never been his game going to a West Coast offense that praises pretty much pace and space.
With a noodle arm quarterback. Well, not quite noodle arm. Noodle arm adjacent. Noodle arm adjacent.
Yeah.
Well, I don't fuck
So
with him,
let
so fuck him, but that's notwithstanding to the
Y'all are using. I mean,
but
y'all are using logic. I just think that what you said, Nick. You have a veteran guy coming into a veteran team with a head coach that has a well established, offensive system in particular. I just think ideology, the ideologies match. It makes sense, and I think that a guy like Mike Evans, even if it is a different, like you said, offensive system and route than what he's been running, I think he's talented enough and old enough, experienced enough to kind of come in and know what he needs to contribute, day one for this offense. And I mean, Kittle's still there, and you're gonna have some sort of run game. So I don't think they're gonna. I don't even think. I like the Tay Adams comparison, but I don't even think they need him to do that. Like if Mike Evans catches, Alex Pierce caught 47 balls last year. If Mike Evans catches 55 balls next year.
I think he got robbed if he catches 50 passes.
55
passes,
balls,
$20 million.
55 balls, 900 yards.
Huh?
9 touchdowns, 8 touchdowns. 1K.
55, 95.
I mean it's possible. Like you said, Alex Pierce put up a K with under 45 catches.
Nigga, damn. The fuck
Yeah.
kind of YPC is that? It seems like to me you're saying you don't fault them for trying, if I'm understanding.
I mean, we said that about Tennessee and Vegas, and I ate the money they spent way more. I can't lie. So
if I'm reading it correctly, I don't mind. I don't mind at all. If you're saying like whether you like the move or not aside, but like if you're saying like I'm not mad at them for pulling that trigger, then I'm completely fine with that. Now I'm not jacking or clapping the move, like I said, but
that boy New York as hell.
I mean, we've seen like let's just say the last 5 years. San Francisco, of course, they haven't won a Super Bowl. They've lost games in the playoffs, but this past year to Seattle, they look like little bro. I've never seen that from San Fran, bro, where they look like inferior. Like Seattle's kicking their ass in those last in those games when it got late. They looked inferior and they looked pieces away, not just one guy away.
But
And
that
this
was also
seems like a home run. My bad, you can go.
Oh, not my fault. I didn't mean to cut you off. I thought you was finished, but I was gonna say we saw that week 17 and then first round of the playoffs, second round of the playoffs, whatever. That was the devolved version of the San Francisco 49ers team. When we saw those two teams match up week one, it was a different story. And we still have to realize that this 49ers team, despite everything that they went through, if they won that week 17, they would have won the number one seed in the NFC West. So for all we can say about everything that happened in San Francisco and the way they looked at the back end of the season, they were in position to win the division. They won a playoff game and they even though we know how dominant the game was, they were technically in the game if you just look at the box score with the eventual Super Bowl champion. So, like Josh said, like I understand, like I can see them making this move as a move to kind of try to get them over the hump, maybe. Take that offense to another level, bring some more consistency to it outside of Christian McCaffrey. But all in all, like this is still a good team, and we know Kyle Shanahan is going to do what Kyle Shanahan does and find a way to win no matter who is out there on the field. And kind of as TJ alluded to, a guy with a noodle arm, he found a way with Brock Purdy. But moving on to another noodle arm and going back to the NFC South, Tagovailoa, fuck it, Tua,
Turn
goddamn,
the ball
Oh
over.
God, the Blazing nigga. You got it.
Tua got released by the Dolphins, signs with the Falcons same day. Now, obviously, Michael Penix coming off the ACL injury. Who knows when he'll be healthy at what point in the season? But Tua is pretty much your QB1 for the entire offseason in Atlanta. How we feeling? Kevin Stefanski, Tua Tagovailoa, man.
You put some booth on top of some mid. Oh God,
Listen,
they're blowing Reggie as hell down in Atlanta. It's tough there. We talk about what TJ said earlier about like the heads have not competent versus incompetent. That's how I kind of feel with Atlanta right now. Like in terms of the options they had at their disposal, like I wouldn't have. I mean, Nick likes the defensive hire more than me. Not a big fan of it, but if you're looking at their options going into play quarterback for next season, Tua probably was the best option, to be honest. So it is what it is. It kind of sucks because we've seen them look competent towards the end of the year, especially against Buffalo. And yeah, I think that we could be looking at a Barry Sanders situation with Bijan where they just waste his career if they don't find a QB. But again, what were they really supposed to do?
Vance, how you feel about it? It seemed like you had a contradictory feeling towards Josh.
I like it a lot. I would say start Tua. He's gonna do what he does. It's gonna be hot when that's perfect time. Where they're
He's gonna
playing in
do
a
what
dome.
he's gonna do what
They're
he
playing in
does.
a dome.
Say more words. He's gonna do what he does. What is this
He's about timing. Tua's about timing.
That could mean two different things too. Like there is a good quarterback in there. So there was a really good quarterback in there somewhere. With Michael Penix, you have almost no evidence of that. Like none.
To your point, Vance, talking about timing, Michael Penix is a guy who completed only 60% of his passes last year, and we saw some of the hiccups and just down to down consistency issues with Penix. We look at Tua, this is a guy who's 2 years removed from completing 72% of his passes, being a 4,000-yard passer. So we've seen the highs with Tua, like you said, but I'm gonna let you finish.
No, I was just saying, like the short game, getting the ball to Bijan. You want Bijan to touch it as much as possible. Drake London, he's a Josh Crawford guy, big body. He's gonna get the targets. He's gonna get in the way. Tua, he's very accurate, so he can get the ball to him. Mooney's gonna give you some pop off games here and there. And so once you have these guys and you're playing in a dome, let's just say Atlanta misses around. They have a really good regular season. When you look at the roster, top to bottom, question mark James Pierce. But when you look at the roster, it's gonna be one of those things where they can mess around and be a 12-5, 13-4, get a home game and a playoff game. They're playing in a dome. It's gonna be warm. Tua's not gonna have to go on the road, play in a cold environment, something like that. They can mess around and make it to an NFC championship game. And this is all assuming that he plays the entire season. That's a big if, not a guarantee. But the way the roster is constructed, Tua, he could be the perfect type of guy to be the guy that drives that car.
I don't disagree
I
with you,
mean,
bro.
I look at it kind of the same way I look at the Mike Evans thing. Like, I mean, maximum efficiency with the money you're spending, maybe not, but low risk, flyer, high upside things. Because even if I'm not inclined to believe that the quarterback that y'all think is in there is still in there, I think that egg has been scrambled. They're paying him what to try to find out?
Like a
So
million. So yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Because he got 99 in dead cap in Miami over 2 years. So you have a free quarterback on your roster. So
And I kind of look at it like this, like you think about Stefanski and kind of like some of the staples of his offense, the play action game, the intermediate routes, kind of just everything that Stefanski does, I think really aligns with Tua well and Tua's strengths. Because I just think, looking at the weapons he has available to him, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, like we all said, Bajan, like I think this might be very similar to the situation he had in Miami when you look at the weapons he had in Tyreek Waddle and the run game with Achane or Mostert, whichever one it was during that 4,000-year season. But like I think he's going to a very good setup, a place where he can rehab his career, even if he just plays well, through the preseason games. There are a lot of questions about Tua, whether he will even, if he even is a starting quarterback in this league after how that last season in Miami went. Like I just can't get that video of goddamn Mike McDonald on the sideline just telling him to get out the game. Like I just can't get that out of my brain. I feel like a lot of GMs have that video stuck in their brain. So I think this is a good spot for Tua to go to not only rebuild his career, but also a good chance for him to go and potentially play some games and show that maybe that 4,000 passing yard guy is still in there, especially with the weapons at his disposal, like I said.
we'll see. We'll see. I think that this can't be the plan after this year, though. I don't see Tua playing well, to be honest. But even if you do see him playing well, I look at it how I look at the cross sports. I look at how I'm looking at it with Washington with AD and Trae Young. Like this is a bridge thing. This is not a thing that's a multi-year solution. So you got that. You taking this low risk flyer. Don't mess it up with bad decision making. Don't try to put don't like I said. Don't try to lead your boogie. So yeah, it can be a tentatively good move for now, subject to being a bad move depending on management of said asset.
That's another episode. No cap in the books.
Right.
Free agency frenzy. A lot of stuff to be excited for. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Do all of that. And shit like that, man. We out of here.
Oh.